everybody. Welcome to What Drives Us, episode 431 for Wednesday, October 27, 2021. My name is Russell Frost, and I am your host on this week's adventure into sustainable energy and advanced tech mobility. Let me introduce this amazing panel. Let's get this show on the road because we have a lot of ground to cover. My friend from the Great White North, and both Paul and Mark are thinking, does he mean me? Or does he mean me? I love being a little ambiguous.
I'm in the South now.
Yeah, I know, but you're... He is the founder of the Waterloo Regional Electric Vehicle Association and the host of the Tesla Life, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everybody. And no, there's no white here yet, but it's coming. I know it's coming, but not today.
Folks are comparing the bomb cyclone output in California to if it had been snow. They said it would have been 8 inches of snow.
Are you saying that winter is coming?
Winter is coming. Absolutely.
I'm sorry. I don't get any money from HBO, so I don't know why I'm plugging their crap.
I know. Especially not with that.
Was it long enough ago that some people don't know what you're talking about now?
Hopefully.
Oh, not in our audience.
Yeah. Humans do have like a 5-second memory.
Yeah, I mean...
We're like advanced chipmunks.
There we go. Well, and my friend in Northern California, where it is anything but cold. In fact, it's actually unseasonably warm here today and tomorrow. So I assume maybe she's enjoying a cool drink, enjoying the wonderful... No?
Well, the drink
it's not warm
cool.
up there today? It's like 80 here today. Anyway, her name is Georgia Mckenzie.
It was 70 as a high today, and it's not going to get any warmer than that. In fact, that is our week's high. That is our 10-day high, 70. And but you know what? No complaints. We've been blessed with the rains. So California, for those of you who do not know, California seems to be in a drought for, I don't know, what, the past 3 years. We've had 3 years of drought, and this one was a terrible one this year. We're just lucky we didn't have awful fires, and we are still in fire season, so we can't really relax. But it's been a lovely several days of rain, and so I'm very thankful for all that wonderful water coming down from the sky, and hopefully landed in the aquifers and not on places that are going to have massive mudslides later on, because California also has mudslide season after rain season.
We have everything here.
We do have everything.
Something for everyone. Would you like to be married?
24-hour deli. That's just New York.
Absolutely. You want to be married in a mountain of mud? We can do that.
That we can do.
We can do that. Well, speaking of things we can do, he is our friend, Mr. Supercharger Review in the Mid-Atlantic region, Mr. Kacey Green.
Yeah, so I've been letting the car drive me around, and even visited a couple superchargers, and with this latest update, it hasn't tried to put me in oncoming traffic yet, so that's a plus. But it has made a bunch of wrong turns and blamed them on me, gaslighting me, just like a pro. I was like, no, I saw you make that turn before I took over.
Oh.
That's why I took over, because you took the wrong turn.
The first car in history that can allow you to lose your own license.
Yeah, sometimes it looks drunk.
I'm glad you're safe, and that's all.
Thank you.
Well, he's always safe because he is the founder of Boulder Hybrids in Boulder, Colorado. He is the man you want to know if you have an electric or a hybrid car in the Front Range, Mr. Paul Guzik.
Hey, glad to be back. I missed you guys last week. Where were you?
We were here waiting for you, Paul. We didn't even do the show because you never showed.
I got the wrong channel.
Wait, I wasn't here. Oh, yeah. I took last week off because my kid was visiting. I admit it. Haven't seen her in a year. I'm allowed to take some time off. So
yes, you are.
We're all allowed to take time off.
That is
without
correct.
pay, of course. But
Right.
None of us got paid last
health.
week. Yeah, and oddly enough, none of us got paid last week for doing nothing. None of us are going to get paid this week for doing something. That's
right.
That's how it works.
Yeah, really. But think of all the exposure.
I'm going to take this exposure right to my mortgage company.
Yeah, exactly.
Rich in exposure.
Well, speaking of exposure, there's both good and there's bad exposure. And this next bit of exposure, I would personally qualify as exceptionally bad. Sandy Monroe, who has spent decades building a reputation as a contractor, as an independent engineer who tears down vehicles and evaluates them for manufacturers, for all sorts of people, has in the last, has it been about a year and a half, 2 years?
Yeah.
He's been, shall we say, more closely connected with Tesla and has spent more time working with Tesla and talking about their vehicles, came out with a embarrassingly the thing when you see a human do something and you feel shame even though you had nothing to do with it. Yeah, that video defending Tesla. And I'm not really sure why we needed. Listen, we're all here. We all have a perspective. Everybody's allowed to do that. I'm not saying he's not allowed to do that. But I am saying that if you're a respected engineer and you want to keep that reputation, probably popping off in a semi-literate fashion about things which maybe aren't directly in your wheelhouse, probably not the best idea.
As a citizen, I get his anger. You're right, though. As somebody closely related to some of the OEMs that are pushing this path, it may cost him some business. And as we saw over the last 2 years, he's hurting for business right now.
I'm sorry, who's hurting for business?
Oh, I mean, he keeps trying to sell us Monroe.
Oh, Monroe. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
But like you said, he kind of popped onto the public eye for those of us that aren't in the industry when he tore apart Model 3 and eviscerated it. How terrible it was. Too many welds, too many pieces of metal, too many fasteners, etc., etc. And then, like, he's been just dumbfounded with the turnaround, and he's been vocal about that as well. But this particular rant, if it's the one I'm thinking of, I agree with the sentiment, but like you said, it's probably not best for business to attach that to your brand.
Russell, for those who have not seen the video or not quite sure, give us a synopsis of the video.
Well, I think the aside from drunken old man rambling. Oh no, wait.
He's like that grandpa character.
He probably wasn't drunk,
boys and girls.
And I'm the last one to throw the old comment at somebody. So I'll just say, ostensibly, he is defending Tesla against NHTSA for investigating Tesla and being biased against Tesla. Is that
Wait,
fair?
is this the investigation one, or is this the new administrator one?
This is the... Well, what are they different? I haven't seen the new one, I guess. So, what, he doesn't like Homendy now, or is
no, not that one. The one
Missy
with the
Cummings. She's not the
one with
administrator. Yeah, she's just one of the technical people. Yeah, you know what? Again, here's the thing. When you put yourself out as an objective third-party evaluator, and you have nothing but disdain for objective third-party evaluators working maybe against the company that you've spent a couple of years supporting, it's not a good look.
Especially when you support them for free.
Allegedly.
Well, I mean, it'd be pretty dishonest if he goes up and keeps saying that I'm not getting anything from them, and then turns out he is.
And then finds
I'm
out
to
he
take
is
him at his
being
word.
paid. Yeah, that would be surprising.
Yeah, for now, I'll take him at his word on that, unless we hear otherwise.
Paul, you're muted.
I couldn't hear you.
It's stereo.
Thank you. I said, yeah, except for the secret bank account in the Cayman Islands that Elon's like sending checks to every month.
He's had more free vehicles from Hyundai than Tesla for sure.
Let me just put this forth, and this is sort of a defense of Sandy Monroe. If Sandy Monroe isn't collecting a check, he's a freaking idiot. Okay, I hope that Elon's stuffing a Cayman bank account full of cash for him because, again, why? Why else do it? I mean, because you so strongly believe in this one company after decades of looking at the evidence and tearing things apart, all of a sudden you're a cheerleader.
I have a feeling that Sandy's been watching the regular Big Three for a long time.
He has.
And I also feel that he's become disillusioned with their talk of changes, with their talk of innovation.
Decades.
And he has seen it from the inside and out. He's talked several times about other videos about how he had brought innovation to those different companies, and they've turned him down on almost every turn, it seemed.
Or put it on a shelf to never touch it again.
When he had valid things, and then when Tesla comes along and implements some of the things that he had presented to Ford and GM in the past,
in weeks.
it was interesting that he had certainly seen that this was a group that said they were going to make changes and they were going to innovate, and they've done it. And I think he's been kind of disillusioned with the big three and what they call innovation.
Yeah. And then, like, you can see it further, like when he tore down the Mach-E, like he's complimenting this thing and ripping them a new one for this thing. It's like, he's like, they were good here and they were terrible here. Why can't they get it straight after all these years?
Because nobody gets it straight.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it. Is there a perfect car company somewhere? Please, someone.
No, I mean, I haven't seen him tear down any car yet and not complain about
were
it. It's
a nightmare to work on.
Yeah.
I think what do Veyron tires cost? Like $30,000 a piece? I mean,
yes.
What's perfect? I don't know. I just to me it's overt, shameless shilling. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I don't think he's getting paid.
Yeah, I took it as legitimate.
I mean,
genuine.
He's kind of gone from pundit to fanboy. I mean,
it looks that way.
So, what changed? Did Tesla really change, or did his bank account change?
Well, if you listen to him tell it from the Model 3 to the Model Y, and then the second rev of the Model Y, that's really what turned him. When he saw that single piece casting, I stopped hearing him say almost anything negative about Tesla, other than when he sees something they could do better. Like there was one item on the Mach-E, he's like, "Hey, Tesla could learn from this." And
okay, I haven't watched.
Volkswagen did something he liked once.
I watched a couple of his videos, but
there's no doubt that my opinion is just an opinion.
Everybody's got one.
Yep, and we know what else everybody has.
And Elon, if you're watching, set up a Cayman bank account for me, and I'll say all kinds of good things.
I'll say more good things.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't like you, but you can buy at least one good review from me.
We all have a price.
Yeah, it's a high one, but
You know, Benjamin in the chat brings up Rich Benoit, who's been on the show, who's a wonderful guy. And I get that, like, I just, the difference between Rich and Sandy is, to me, stark and enormous.
They seem the same to me, except that one is funny about it, and the other is trying to be
Rich
funny
is
about
more
it.
entertaining to watch.
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah, Rich is much more entertaining about it.
But I also,
but Rich isn't an engineer; he's just a guy.
Right.
No, Rich is an entertainer. Like, definitely.
Yeah.
You watch his videos, and that's what he's going for.
Yeah. And he's a super talented at what he does.
Yes.
You know, for a hacker, I guess, you know what I mean? Someone who's not an official mechanic, someone who's not an engineer, he's done some really cool stuff. A lot of really cool stuff, and continues to. So we need to have him back on the show sometime. He's a good guy. Our next story doesn't involve my stupid opinion. Georgia is going to talk about something going on in one of my favorite places, Iceland.
it could involve my stupid opinion. So here goes. Iceland has opened up the world's largest carbon capture machine. Not so bad. Granted, 4,000 tons of CO2 pulled from the air annually sounds like a lot, but it's kind of probably not that much. It is a basic start. It's a few cars, but hey, we're doing something, and that's what's important here. So it just opened up last month. It's by Climeworks, and this is called the Orca machine. Russell, do you want to share a picture of it, or should I?
I don't have one, but I can find one while you chat. How's that?
I can do that
Okay.
because
I
I
could
have it
look.
open.
There's an orca. Ooh, it is quite a machine, isn't it?
It is
Okay.
something, ain't it?
Is it a
Yeah.
whale of a machine?
It is.
No, but well, yes and no.
It's
So
a
look at
dolphin
that
of a
thing.
machine?
It is a machine, and it's basically pulling carbon from the air and dragging it down to hell. I mean, the Earth.
Same thing.
Same difference.
Dragging it to hell.
Earth is kind of hell, isn't it? Too many
Yes.
humans. So this massive carbon capture machine is it was built started building back in May 2020, and it's up and running now in 15 months.
And what is the source of the carbon? Is it beside a diesel bus plant or what?
Atmosphere.
It's just
out of the-
atmosphere.
Wow.
Yeah. So, the cool thing is it runs 100% on renewable energy because it is adjacent. I am not going to be able to pronounce this, but on Power's unpronounceable Icelandic word, geothermal power plant.
There we go.
I have a friend in Iceland. She is going to roast me for my inability to
So
pronounce
it's not.
that word.
Is it near Reykjavik? Is that the word that you?
I no, it is not. It is hellish. Oh, I don't know.
Ooh, let me see if the
shit,
computer
down.
can say it.
I'm
I told you it was hell.
Oh. That's true. I mean, she wasn't lying, folks.
She was not. I am not lying. Oh, let me also show you a couple more interior shots.
Yeah, they're cool.
Look
Are
at
we
these.
still up
Look at
there
those
we go.
turbines.
Yeah.
Those are just PC fans blown up with Photoshop.
Yeah, I think that's just how they keep the Bitcoin miner cool.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing with them being powered off of renewables instead of the regular grid at large is
The regular
that you're
grid at
not-
large in Iceland is renewable.
Well, there's that, but I mean, what I'm saying is that there's no chance of it just
Yeah.
barely keeping itself clean.
Right.
It's actually net positive.
Iceland's amazing. I mean, they have virtually unlimited geothermal power, and
Basically.
pretty cool stuff for a country that's like the whole country's 300,000 people. I mean, it's the size of a mid-sized U.S. city, and they're doing all this innovative stuff. So,
Well, I'm going to
Good price.
answer at least one question that came up in chat from Benjamin Neve. Hi, Benjamin. So, what do they do with the carbon? Well,
they
They're
inject it
partly-
into the volcanoes.
stop it. They're
It's gonna
partnered
come right
with
back out.
Would y'all shut up? They partnered with CarbFix, which is a firm that specializes in rapid underground mineralization. They mix the air-captured carbon from Orca with water, pump it deep below the ground surface. Then this captured carbon gets trapped in the stone through a natural mineralization process in just under 2 years. Now,
That's fast.
I'm not going to, I think that I was just, it was fascinating to me because to me, I'm just like, yes, but what does it do there? I mean, is this safe? How does this work? There's a whole lot of questions I have. I wish that we could get somebody on to talk a little bit more about carbon capture and what this means when you carbon capture, because they're describing it and I can figure it out based on what they're describing it, but I have a lot of questions because once you trap it down there, how stable is it? What does it do to the groundwater? What does it do to the solid layer of earth? I mean, we have these issues with fracking where we're pumping air into the earth to push out oil. So, how good and safe is this? Are we trading off one to the other? There's a lot of questions that I think that we should be asking. Which Benjamin also points out in the chat. So I have a lot of questions, but they're presenting this as a decent start, as a good. So let's chalk it up as good until we find out that once again, humans are both the problem and the solution, and then the problem again.
It's the
virus.
circle of life.
The circle of life.
Which points out that this is why a lot of these folks like Musk and others that are in carbon capture, or aspiring to be in carbon capture in his case, why they say that trees alone are not enough, because if we the trees will either decompose or we'll use them, which then puts the carbon back into the system. So another thing I heard about this week was whales. They actually store a lot of carbon when they die, and I was impressed by that.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Which I read that one too. That was a pretty cool factoid. Weird, but cool.
But we got to stop hunting them to extinction, so.
Oh, come on. Look.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we had to have some
whale
whales available to die for it to work.
Well,
So.
Humans like to live on the edge.
we do.
Can't deny the exciting feelings we all have when we hunt for food and safe land.
Exactly. Well, I look forward to Iceland being the globe's #1 exporter of soda water sometime in the future. Thank you, Paul. I'm riffing on something Paul said in the private chat. So there we go. Thanks, George. That's a really. I mean, thank you.
Got you some captured carbon, right? Yeah.
I don't have to add any wisdom to that because Georgia did fine. Paul has a story about General Motors and an electric vehicle, and I'm just going to leave it there. What's going on with GM, Paul?
And Mark will be proud to hear that it's they're being built in Ontario, Canada, down the street from him, probably. But GM is jumping on the EV bandwagon with their, I guess they call it the Bright Drop EV 600. And we've always talked about on the show how EV delivery vans make so much sense for Amazon, FedEx, USPS, whatever, because they have a standard route and they want to be quiet and they go on and off all day. But what's really interesting is they said that they've actually built this thing in 20 months and the first units are going to ship this, well, they're implying this holiday season. It doesn't say this holiday season. Maybe they mean next holiday season. But actually, Russell, can you share the pictures on the website?
I can certainly try, yes. Let's
But
give it a shot.
It's, a low floor, big boxy van that would be great for delivering stuff. And apparently they've got some orders already. And
FedEx is someone that's ordered from them.
Oh, I can't share it,
FedEx and
actually. I'm
Verizon.
sorry.
Oh.
It won't let me
How
share.
about Kacey?
Yeah, 1 second.
Kacey, do you mind? Thank you.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a permission I need to engage that I have not engaged.
And they're also going to have a small. This one is quite big, like a typical Amazon size van. But they're going to make a tinier one for smaller businesses like florist delivery, maybe pizza delivery, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I would actually go a little further. I think the 600, the large van, is almost a UPS size van.
Yeah.
FedEx van.
But they're jumping on the van bandwagon.
It's ready, Russell.
Thank you. And dare we say, now Paul suggested this in his title, but it is very Rivian looking, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is, especially with the nose off.
Oh, it really is.
Which is sort of like saying everything looks, something looks like a Prius because the Prius was designed for a low coefficient of drag, so it's an efficient form that lots of people are going to copy. I mean, Rivian didn't invent this; they just took advantage of physics.
It's like how I think every place looks like Queens.
It looks like it's running on some Chevy E-Series tires or wheels.
And
that's a big ass.
What's
van.
interesting is they chose the model number 600, and I have no idea why they chose 600. But Russell, if you can share this image, I actually own 3 Electrovan 600s built in 1981 that look like this.
Uh-oh. Where is...
Oh, I put it on the private link.
Oh. Got it. Kacey, are you
So
on
the
that?
original
I got it.
Electrovan 600 was built on a Subaru Microvan chassis.
What?
Somehow
Microvan.
I've got 3 of them.
You have 3 of these?
Oh, I kind of wanted one.
Can you share it?
One now.
Yeah, it's open now.
It's like a clown car.
Oh my God.
Are we sharing it?
I'm
Sure,
sharing.
I'm sorry. I need to. There we go. I want one of these so bad.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is
Really
so
cool.
cute.
They're really cute. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're tiny.
Wait, you have
very
them?
tiny.
It's like a
I have
cake
three.
truck.
Yeah, it is. But
Oh
there
my
was a
God.
company in Texas in the early '80s that bought gliders from Japan and put in a lead acid powertrain. And somehow along the years, I've acquired 3 of them with hopes to make one out of the 3 that runs and drives. And it's actually street legal, which is quite
Nice.
funny.
It
About
goes
as safe
30
as
to
a beer
50
can.
miles.
Well, it did
Aw.
On
on
lead.
lead acid. So you put a
Yeah.
Tesla powertrain in it with lithium batteries, probably do wheelies.
There you
Nice.
go. Or even some old Prius batteries on
Yeah.
nickel.
But when I saw this thing, I said, "Hey, I got an EV600 van already. I got 3 of them." But it's interesting how all these companies are jumping on EVs big time.
Yeah.
And
So I'm sold on the Bright Drop concept where they've got like the autonomous containers that drop out of it and go down the street or whatever. What I don't
geez.
understand is their first customer is Verizon. What does Verizon need automated containers for in
to
this
bring you
van?
your new cell phone.
Yeah, to deliver your cable box.
Because they're
or-
that
yeah.
big. The Verizon Plus Plus.
I don't know. I find them that's pretty cool.
It is very cool.
So
Well,
The
there's
only thing
also-
I can think is maybe Verizon's just using the van part and not the automated containers.
I mean, the other
battery in there.
ramblings I've seen this week about GM is they're actually going to invest in building a charging network, which is very smart.
Really?
Yeah.
No one other than Tesla has figured that out yet.
Well, 40,000 plugs across Canada and the United States. And it looks like they're going to be hooked up to their dealer network. So they're
Behind the gates
not
of Lock at Night?
necessarily on their own. They're connected to dealers. Although they have said publicly that any EV can charge there, not just a GM EV.
As long as the dealer allows.
Well, they didn't say that. They said publicly any EV could charge there.
We'll see what happens when we pull up to them.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it'll be handled better than Nissan has dealt with their chargers.
That's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
Then we also saw Rivian has committed to a public network. Everybody on the level 2 and themselves alone on the level 3.
Yeah, and I also saw GM said they're going to help HOAs put in charging systems and shopping centers. So let's see if
HOAs are
they're
bare.
yeah. Right, but if they can figure it out and
Yeah.
if there's federal money to help with it, like I live in a HOA complex, if the HOA is not going to pay for it, but if GM and the feds came and said, "Hey, we're going to help pay for this, and your users just pay by use," I'd vote for it.
Yeah.
If it was on the property.
Yeah.
So
I'd be
lots of
glad to
cool
see that.
stuff is starting to happen, or at least
Yeah,
announced,
and you're
I
right,
guess we'll
Paul. That's
see.
just down the street from me in Ingersoll, Ontario, down the 401, close to between Kitchener and London. It's situated, and they overtook a plant that was called the Cami plant, and that was producing some smaller GM vehicles that had been ousted in a change of direction, and since they had the plant that was going to be mothballed, they converted it to build the Bright Drop. And it was just going to be the Bright Drop 600 to start with, but I guess they've had such an influx of orders that they started to build the smaller van. I think it's the 400 that's being built there as well. So
410.
2 vans, 2 sizes.
Wow.
I think they call it the 410, although sounds like they should have called it the 401.
There you go, because it's on the 401.
Thank you for not
But
making a fortune.
like the Lexus factory near you, are they going to have a Tim Hortons in the factory?
Because there's 4 on the outside, and that's just not enough.
Well, it keeps them in the factory. They go get their coffee and snacks, and they get back on the line.
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, I guess thumbs up for GM if they can actually ship these things. So
Yeah.
Anything that takes gas cars off the road is a good thing.
yeah,
Electrify
trucks.
all the things.
and idling trucks in front of your house too.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, my
Or
favorite
at
is
the
the garbage truck and the
distribution
mail truck. Rev, stop, and then always at a terrible time of day.
Yeah, there's that too. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for that, Paul. Let's go to my friend Mark Coughlin for This Week in Tesla.
This week in Tesla, nothing happened.
Thank you, Mark. That's great. I've been waiting for years for that to happen.
Actually, this was a fairly momentous week. Hertz rental car company, emerging from bankruptcy, has decided to purchase 100,000 Model 3s from Tesla at almost full market value, $4.2 billion spent on these cars, a 14-month production period to put 100,000 cars in their hands. Hertz has indicated that they will be putting these cars across the country in a number of different rental spots at airports and such. One of the early locations, of course, will be Orlando in Florida, where you can actually book your Model 3 now, basically for $10 per day over the regular car. So, and here's the cool thing about it. They're going to give you the car with an 80% charge, is what they're saying on the Hertz website. And you are allowed to bring that car back with a minimum of 10% charge. So you're going to get a 70% charge that you don't have to pay for fuel. They give you the car, you can drive it around. As long as you got 10% left when you return the car, there's no charge for fuel. So these are going to be SR Plus cars. So as we know, the mileage on those, I know it's in kilometers for me, like 423 kilometers. That rounds up to what? Maybe
4.5 miles. Oh,
a little more than that.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's go 260 miles. And what we've got is the ability to you're getting 70% of the charge will be free. So if you're renting a car and it costs $10 more per day, being able to subtract the amount that you would have paid on some fuel, you're probably going to break even, and you get a cool new EV to test out. So what's really going to be interesting here is that a whole bunch of new people could be exposed to EVs that haven't in the past. They'll be given the option, because whenever you go into a rental car place and you go to pick up your order, the first thing the attendant asks you is, would you like to upgrade to another vehicle? Or, that's always a question. So people are going to be offered the chance of taking out a cool new EV on their trip. And it could be a great way of getting people butts in seats and get them to experience an EV for the first time.
And
so
you don't have to worry about that mad dash back to the airport. Oh shoot, I got to find a gas station on the way, and the nearest one was actually 10 miles back, and you got to go, and now you've missed your flight. Plus, if you didn't go that far, you don't even actually have to refill it, because they gave you that leeway of bringing it back with 10%.
No,
so
go ahead,
if
Paul.
this is in Orlando, I'm going to open up a tire distribution company in Orlando. Because if I rent that car, it's going to come back with bald tires.
No doubt.
So the other thing is that this was announced this past Monday, and then yesterday it was announced that Hertz has a deal with Uber somehow, and some of these cars, or additional amount of these cars, are going to be offered to Uber drivers. So they're going to be, I guess, leasing them from Hertz, Uber drivers using the Model 3 as their main drive to drive people around in EVs. So I'm not sure how this completely works, but it looks like there's some sort of incentive deal that Hertz is going to work out with Uber drivers and offer them the ability to lease / own a Model 3 from the fleet and use it in Uber situations. So that's another change or change to the story that happened just yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is huge when Joe consumer renter can drive an EV that's never driven one. They're just it's gonna like blow their mind.
Exactly.
Especially a Tesla. So
So
everybody hears how neat Teslas are, but until you're actually in one, you don't appreciate it.
Yeah,
Because it sounds
exactly.
far fetched until you actually experience it. You realize that it wasn't hyperbole. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
this really is nice.
It's a really nice. The funny thing is here, I pay attention to car trends with the young people. With the young people now that I'm an old lady.
Wow.
Yes.
Welcome,
Now
Grandma.
that I've been able to watch the young people for this term, I have noticed a few things. And they have all stopped buying the teeny weeny little micro mini car. And I'm now seeing that they love the Tesla. So the funny thing is that I'm seeing more and more Teslas bought by our extremely well-off student body parentage to send their kids to school with shiny new Teslas. And it's we've gone from Teslas being something of a niche to they're mentioned in song
Yes.
as a status symbol, and the cool kids are buying them. So I'm kind of not surprised with the Hertz news. And it also says good things that overall the trend is to EVs. But I can't wait to see if there is going to be an EV manufacturer that's going to come up with something that hits the sweet spot of capturing the next generation. Because once something is brought widely seen as cool, it becomes immediately uncool. So the next generation have to find something else. So it's
Right.
going to be fascinating.
Well, there's two cool things about that. Is that one, Hertz didn't tie themselves exclusively to Tesla, so they will be trying their toes in other waters if other
Well,
manufacturers
they
will
were
meet
always
their
a big Ford
requirements.
partner, so you know.
And the funny thing is that they have Ford's ex-CEO, Mark Fields. Yeah,
Do they?
yeah. And then with the Uber connection, this will also be great because now you've got cars that are constantly running that are not emitting locally, and it's also a lot cheaper to run and maintain for the Uber drivers since they're renting them.
If I was traveling and I was going to rent a car and they said for $10 more you can get a Tesla, you don't have to gas it up on the way back. Hell yes, I've been there. Everybody
Yeah.
would do that.
Sure.
And
It's a
and
no-brainer.
the people that rent them are not just limited to charge the vehicle at the hotel or whatever. They can use the supercharger network. Now
Right,
they will be
right.
dinged extra because they do have your credit card, but
Yeah.
it is going to be convenient that they can just drop by a supercharger at any point of the day or night, plug in, the car will automatically ding their credit card for the amount that they charged on the network. And they're also given the ability that if you use an L2 while you're at a restaurant, you just get to add it to it. So if you stay at a hotel that has a charger, you can use it. So you don't have to just use the exclusive Tesla network. You could use whatever network you have access to and makes financial sense to you.
Or you can return it empty and they'll charge you $87 to fill it up.
Not quite that much, but there's a surcharge if you bring it back outside of the
Yeah.
range they specified.
And the car is also checked to make sure that the adapters are still there after you return it. And if one adapter's missing, you're getting charged for the entire adapter bag. So, and a surcharge. So they're covering all the bases with the car.
Yeah.
And just because I love my friends in the Tesla community so much, here's your chance to take a shot on me. Let's keep in mind that Hertz was basically a dead body.
They just got out of bankruptcy.
Yeah. And that this is primarily motivated by that sweet fat EV tax credit allegedly coming soon, which is the prime motivator for this, arguably.
Well, and they sold off all their cars, so they have no cars right now.
They had to get cars to stay.
And if you're going to start over, I think this is the way to do it, though.
I totally agree with that, and I'm glad they're going EV, and I don't mind that they're going Tesla. Again, I think, let's just say this, commenting on the irrational market exuberance to this reaction to this story, I think is like, okay, it's cool, but let's wait until it actually happens, and then we'll really celebrate.
Yeah,
I wonder if they'll
the
cripple.
purchase.
I wonder if they'll cripple the cars, like have like not a valet mode, but something like
Shield
normal
mode.
car mode,
Speed
so
limit
people
mode.
can't. Yeah, so people
They
won't
could
abuse it.
easily cap the speed, couldn't they?
Yeah, it's built right
Well,
into the car.
I'd cap the rate of acceleration.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's built in too.
I mean,
But we were speculating on the Tesla Life. We speculated that perhaps they won't because they've done performant cars in the past, and they're older Teslas. They never did most markets they did not turn on those features to
Yeah, but
limit
in
your
the
speed.
'60s, Hertz had the rent-a-racer where you could
That's
rent
what I was
a
talking
super
about.
Mustang.
Yeah.
And people would rent it on Friday and go swap the engine with their shitty Mustang and pretend it's not there.
That part, yeah, don't do that.
And let's be clear, Teslas aren't cheap to repair.
No,
Get
the insurance.
Especially
It's
collision. Yeah, rent
Hertz is
the
going to be
insurance.
very motivated to protect these vehicles.
Yeah,
Well,
and that was part of their motivation. Yeah,
Yeah,
Go
we
ahead.
were talking about what is Hertz going to do with its rapid replacement policy. Remember, if you had a rental car from Hertz, it was only good up to so many miles, and then they would swap it out for a new one, right? It would be on an ongoing basis that every X amount of miles that went on that vehicle, they knew that it was leaving the fleet and another one would replace it. We're wondering, does that change owning an EV? Whereas EV have less maintenance, they can last longer and have less maintenance. Does that translate into Hertz keeping a car for a longer amount of miles?
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll have to see.
But
'Cause
if you are renting a Tesla, make sure you pay for the extra insurance. So if you wrap it around a pole, you won't have to pay for it.
Yes, or double check that your credit card that you use for the rental hasn't included one or the other, or both.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
to
just
wrap
see
around the
people
pole.
getting into all kinds of trouble with the.
Well, here's the question. All of us have had the ability and the privilege of being able to drive an EV or test an EV. What do you think is going to happen with Joe Q. Public, never driven an EV before in their life, decides that, hey, I'm going to try the Tesla. I hear about these things all the time, and they get out on
He's
the
going
road.
to stomp it right on the
We
parking
Well,
know
does
they're
that, but
going
the-
to enjoy it, but is that
the-
going to result in more accidents or more surprises to a driver that I didn't expect the car would launch like that and go through the middle of the In-N-Out drive-through? Like, is that going to happen?
Well, there's the other problem is that we find that if you're of means or if you are on the edge and you do and you can stretch to get a Tesla, once you sit in one and drive it for even a short distance, you end up getting one.
Yeah. I think a lot of the rentals are not necessarily people that are joyriding stuff.
Correct.
A lot of
They're on a
rentals
business trip.
are
Or going to see
business
family.
trips.
Yeah.
And they want something that they don't have to think about, that they know, that they're familiar with. It's just going to get them to the hotel or the client on time. That's the prime goal here. I'm not saying that won't be the Tesla. I'm just saying that, we'll have to, it will be like, listen, everybody speculated about how the Volt owners were going to use the Volt when it came out. And when we started to see usage figures on how much EV driving Volt owners were, everybody was like, wow, this is great. It wasn't a surprise,
Right.
but it was a surprise, a very pleasant surprise. So we'll see.
Hopefully they when they do the cleanup and they park the car on the line, they leave the screen up on the Tesla tutorial videos, or they give you a laminated card to go with it, something.
Which is exactly why the business drivers don't want to drive it. Because the last thing they want to do is watch a tutorial before they get in a car and go somewhere.
Well, once they've driven it once, they'll remember. But the problem is, hopefully they don't land late for the meeting and then get super frustrated.
And there are going to be many business people that already own a Tesla that are traveling that will want to rental. So
yeah. No, it's a great opportunity, and we have always said on this show, butts and seats. Yeah. Get people to drive these cars, and they will understand the differences and go, "Wow, this is really cool." So there you go. Right. Mark, is that?
That's enough. Off to you, Russell.
Thank you so much, Mark. Do watch Mark on the Tesla Life. Search YouTube for @the Tesla Life. Click on the shiny red logo, and for God's sakes, subscribe to the channel. Okay, it is the only good Tesla news show anywhere on this planet, and I stand by that.
Put a lot of pressure on Mark, why don't you?
It's what I live for, is putting pressure on Mark. Are you kidding me? Mark, has anything changed in our relationship the entire time we've known each other?
No.
I'll own that. Well, let's go to Kacey Green for an exciting new, what do we call it? Conversion and evolution, steroid enhancement? I don't know. Kacey, what's going on at Nissan?
So I've got some pictures for you real quick.
Oh,
we know the
pictures.
Nissan-
Wait. This isn't porn, right?
Correct. So
Okay.
we know that the Nissan Leaf has been on a stylistic change its entire life. It did not start out as the prettiest car.
I disagree.
I had big bug eyes. And
I like the bug eyes.
and my wife hates the rear of the car. Every time I show her the rear, she cringes. Then in the second generation, it became a lot more palatable, a lot more conventional. Well, as we saw with Ford and General Motors and a bunch of other manufacturers, they're abandoning the sedan and small hatchback format. So the next generation Nissan Leaf, the third generation, is allegedly going to be a compact SUV crossover. And so I've got some pictures here on the screen when Russell hits the button. And we'll look at
I
them real
should
quick.
let you. Yeah, thank you, Kacey.
Yeah,
Sorry
that'd be
about
good.
that. Oh,
So here's
look,
the
it looks
profile.
just like every other car.
Exactly. And I don't know about the rear. It looks more like the Kia 6, the Ioniq, or not the Ioniq 6, the EV6. But I mean, it's different. Hopefully by
Of
the
course,
time
it's
it
just
launches,
a concept
it's style.
drawing.
Right. It is
Yeah.
just a concept drawing, so there's time to make it palatable. But I mean, I don't blame these manufacturers for building what will sell. But
I do.
well, I mean, you can blame them for not making the stuff that people want and advertising heavily and switching us. But now that they're here, they're going to sell what people are buying.
So this is almost like they've got the new one that's coming out, right? Nissan's coming out with an SUV that will be
Oh,
on
the Aria,
road.
yes,
Yeah. And that's
so this
gonna
will
be
probably
in
be
the roads.
underneath the Aria.
So this is, just like it's a similar look, but not quite as expensive as the Aria.
Probably smaller. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's like we have the Nissan Rogue and the Nissan what's the other one
Jukes.
again? No, not the Juke, the bigger one. The Rogue and the
Armada.
Armada.
not the Armada. They have
That's
two.
the big
Like one
big
is
one.
like mid-size and one is like bigger mid-size.
Murano.
Murano, there we go. The Murano
Xterra?
and the Rogue.
I don't know.
And
They're all
this
look
will be the Leaf and the Aria taking their place.
Thank you, JT. I agree.
All right, it was interesting. All right.
I did.
Interesting that I wouldn't touch.
Really? No, wait. Seriously, though. Quick pan. So, vote. You would not buy a first generation Leaf based only on the looks.
I almost
Yes or
bought
no?
one, and then I drove it in the wintertime, and
It
I'm
looked
glad I
like
didn't because I would have had
a
a problem with the
sick
battery.
bullfrog.
Okay, so that's one no. Casey says.
I was going to buy it, except that it didn't do what I needed in the winter. And
Casey
then,
says no.
Where I was, it would have failed in the heat. But no, it wasn't the looks that kept me off of it. It was the range.
Georgia, is it too ugly for you?
The original Leaf. You're
Oh,
muted.
you're muted, Georgia.
You're
I'm
muted,
sorry.
Georgia.
You're a silent movie, Georgia.
It was meh. It
Okay.
didn't strike me as anything interesting. But I like the weird cars.
Paul?
I thought it was cute, but I didn't like the range.
The interior looked better to me than the exterior.
That's all I
But the
got.
lights were there for aerodynamics. That's why they looked the way they did.
I'm
So they
pretty
say.
sure that the reason why they keep devolving to those SUVs is because America's really infatuated with big fat SUVs.
Americans are becoming bigger and fatter, so it's a great match.
Hey,
I resemble that.
leave me
Me too.
alone. I'm trying to lose all those lockdown pounds.
Thank you. Thank you. I start
man.
walking tomorrow again. Leave me out. Oh, wait. Benjamin has an iMeave? Benjamin, that's so... You know
I
what?
drove the iMeave a couple
That
times.
is
I liked it.
beautiful. I love the iMeave. I know it's... I know there's horrible things about it, but I still love that car. Well, Kacey, thank you for that. I'm excited. Why are they taking till 2025 to come out with this car?
Because that's how long it takes to do just decided this, apparently.
They just decided, like, hey, what the hell? Let's build a new Leaf, right? Like,
Right.
they haven't. They're
And somehow
one of
this
the,
isn't going to Osborne the current one.
yeah, they're one of the people that helped this trend get started. Okay,
Yeah.
I will say that Nissan reduced their price dramatically for the 2022 Leaf.
Yeah,
because there's no place to charge it.
It is now I believe it's the most affordable EV with acceptable range that you can purchase. The 40 kilowatt is the
except you can purchase them.
Right.
The customer
You can't purchase any car, can you, Paul?
had said, "I'd like to buy the new Leaf." Yeah, come back in March or April. So
Whoa.
yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully the 23 has CCS, because the 22 has CHAdeMO, and that's part of the reason why they're giving them away like this, is because
it also has a tiny battery. Does it?
And the tiny battery.
I mean,
well, that might be what they draw you in with, and then say you probably want the 60 kilowatt.
Right.
It's another $8,000.
Right. That's another $35,000.
What's $25 a month to be able to go wherever you actually want to go instead of just around town? I would use that line as a salesman.
There you go. Well, Kacey, any final words on the cute new Leaf?
We'll see when we see it. Aria will be here first.
Georgia?
I don't care.
Grumble, grumble, snort, snort. Okay, fine.
I like Georgia's next story.
Let's go to Georgia Mckenzie.
Oh, no.
Final story of the day. ONOES.
ONOES. Hey, we've spent all this time promoting electric vehicles, and yet they have a higher real-world fueling cost than gas vehicles.
According to?
According to
the petroleum.
The Anderson Economic Group. So it was a paper that says that, hey, you know something? You may think you're saving the environment and saving money when you ditch the old gas guzzler for a smooth, shiny Tesla, a wonderful EV. But you know what? You energy guzzling hogs, it's actually more costly. As long as you narrow the constraints and really rig the results so you do have a higher cost. It definitely costs more once you do that. Once you make sure it fails, it has a higher cost.
Is this the same group that did the study back in the day that said the Hummer was more environmentally friendly than a Prius?
It probably could.
It might not be the same company, but it's the same people.
Probably the same people. They probably just rebranded, just like Facebook will. So here's one of the things they did. For example, based on gas prices in Michigan, where they are based, the study says, hey, Detroit, Michigan? Oh, never mind. The study says the direct monetary cost to drive 100 miles in an internal combustion vehicle is between $8 and $12. And in an EV, it's between $12 and $15. Yeah, that sounds really wild. What? And the results show that no matter what, it costs more to refuel using electricity than gasoline.
Wait a minute. Is the electricity coming from a gasoline generator?
Hang on. Hang on now.
But from D-cell batteries in the trunk.
Right.
Yeah.
At Walmart.
One thing I'm constantly explaining to people is that when you see a poll or a study, you want to dive in and you want to get a look at crosstabs. When you're looking at a poll of what voters think, you want to go through and see their methodology and their questioning and see what their pools are. Same thing with a study. You want to do a little deep. You don't have to do a major deep dive. You don't even have to be completely cognizant of everything in the field that they are studying. You just have to have a little patience, a little focus, and if you need to, a dictionary or Google to look up terms and see what they mean in those areas. So taking a look at table 2, you'll see that there are 3 types of gas type powered cars listing: entry level, mid-priced, and luxury. For the EVs, they also have 3 columns, but they only include 1 mid-priced and 2 luxury EVs. So in other words, the cost benefit from buying an entry-level EV is completely missing from their study. Once again, you narrow that field and you make sure that you get the conclusion you want to. They also assume that an EV driver who recharges mostly at home is going to spend 2.5 minutes a day using an installed home charger. That seems a little weird. So the study claims,
how geriatric are they?
Hey.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now,
Well, the test subject was, a cripple or something.
Right.
right.
I use a walker.
Now we can calculate the charging at home takes up 75 minutes of time a month. But the study then claims that they spend 4.5 hours a month charging their car. So they assume that people with home chargers conduct 40% of their charges at a public commercial station, which,
That's wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, it's probably
I know.
wrong.
I know. They take the cable, unplug it, and then wrap it perfectly, put it in the bag, and then put it back in the car every time. So that takes 2 minutes.
So they feel that your commercial charging is being driven by people without a 240 volt hookup at home who are also all going on long trips.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Charge on 110 right now.
Yeah. So they include a $600 fee to buy a charger, a level one, another charger is their tally of costs. They also make a mistake in the energy needed for each vehicle. They forgot to now I'm pulling from Car and Driver, and this is Car and Driver saying that they're actually citing Car and Driver's article on charging losses, but they didn't read the one on consumption versus efficiency. So they use the EPA combined efficiency figures in their calculations. And those already include charging losses, but then they add another factor of 88% to account for charging losses. So the double counting lowers the cost figures by more than $1 a piece to between $11.72 and $12.97. And if you instead assume the home charging in a 90-10% split, the cost of a luxury EV drops to $10.50 per 100 miles, completely beating the luxury powered gas example. And Car and Driver also did a study using some of their models where they're like, and they point out the percentage of commercial charging makes all the difference because a Model 3 Tesla is no cheaper to fuel than a long-term BMW M340i when you're charging at more expensive public chargers. So they've already said, the authors of this study said that this is not a scientific study, in which case I would say, then maybe you should just sit down, stay home,
This is a bullshit study.
have a drink, again, bullshit between yourselves, instead of putting out a paper that makes a claim that you then have to say, oh, what do we know? We're not scientists. Because
why would you quote us?
We crunch the numbers to get the right headline.
Yeah, or did they stamp sponsored by Exxon?
You know, honestly, I would have welcomed them saying up front, hey, we've got a bullshit piece of paper that we're going to put out that supports a conclusion that's pro-gas. And that's why I said, oh, you're in Michigan. Which part of Detroit? And, you know,
Lansing.
As I've always said, read the crosstabs, and then you know what you need to do? You need to go all the way to the bottom. And I do this for every political ad that I possibly can, and every study. I go and I look and I see who funded it. Find the teeny weeny, super tiny 6-point legal type that tells you who's behind it. Always look for who's behind it and who's giving out the money for these things. So it was interesting. And if we are doing the newsletter still, I don't know, Russell, I always tell people that one thing you've got to get used to in this wild, wacky world full of free-flowing information and bullshit mixed together in an incredibly toxic stream that comes at you 24/7. Sometimes it's best for you to just read the headline and the first paragraph, cut all the way to the back end and go, now who is this person? And look those people up first and check affiliations. So
before you waste your time on it, yeah.
Before
if you want to start, if you want to start counting like all the costs, like when you have a gas car and you're at a gas station, you go into the mini mart and buy a Snickers bar and a soda. That's part of the fueling cost.
That's part of the fuel. It refueled me.
So
there was fueling cost. So it was fun to take a look and see how a conclusion that people ran with the headlines, of course, because largely because they believe the headline, and they're not willing to do the work of reading the study and looking at the full study. Came across. So once again, congratulations.
You've been bamboozled.
You spread some bullshit. Thank you.
I would like to see the stats from Tesla, Ford, GM, Nissan about the charging habits of their private owners, the ones that park at home.
Right.
I have a feeling that the amount of charging away from home that's not on trips, that's away from their place of business, is extremely small.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people in apartments and townhouses that can't.
40% of your charging done outside your home at public chargers that,
at retail prices.
At retail prices is unheard of. Like, that's just insane.
Unless you live in an apartment.
Right.
Yeah,
but okay, I'm going to go to the free grocery store and plug in my shop.
There are EV cases, Paul, as you said, that people wouldn't own an EV because there is no place to charge, right? That does exist. But people that have a driveway or garage, 98 or 99% of the charging is done in their driveway or their garage every night.
Yep.
And it's done at off-peak hours, typically, where electricity is at its cheapest rate as well. So their numbers are way off.
Like you leave home every day with a full tank.
Yeah.
As somebody who cut his alt card teeth in the early 2000s, fighting against things like the CNW Dust to Dust survey, which came from Michigan, not coincidentally came from Michigan. Yeah, I mean, this crap is always secretly sponsored through like 4 blind corporations, and it's the Automobile Manufacturers Alliance, or it's a big 3 company, or all the big 3 in the alliance, whatever. I mean, and the numbers are always skewed. It's sad, but that's it. We have a media that loves controversy, and this is a controversy.
Yeah,
not really. It's bullshit. But
well, and for the average consumer, just go talk to an EV owner, like a real owner, and say, "Hey, how much you spend to run this car?" Instead of reading some bullshit study.
God forbid. Yeah. God forbid. Well, that's been a good show. It's been an hour. Let's say goodnight and do some shout outs and go home. I'm going to start with my friend Paul Guzik.
Once again, thanks for being here, everybody. Click the like and subscribe. I'm going to say it this time instead of someone else.
Thank you.
We need you to like this show so we can keep doing it. And if you happen to be in Colorado, check us out at boulderhc.com.
George is giving me a very bad look. I feel like it is, although I don't know what she's looking at.
Dude, you gotta stop thinking anything I think or do is about you.
It's not.
I'm literally just sitting here, looking over the chat, and it's like,
unfollow.
You're on this side of the
screen. Block. Okay, got it. We're good. Go see Paul. Visit his website at boulderh or boulderhc.com. He is your connection if you have a hybrid or an electric vehicle and you're on the front range. And even if you're not, like me, maybe you'll fly to Colorado or buy a car and drive it back, because that's what I did. That's my testimonial, and it's unpaid. Mr. Coughlin.
You paid him.
I paid him. Yeah, I did.
I would, if you'd like some more Tesla news, please join us at the Tesla Life. You can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Twitter, and you can find us on Facebook as well. Just follow and look for that big red logo and connect to find out what's going on in the world of Tesla throughout the week. Thank you very much.
Definitely do check. As I said, the only Tesla news show worth watching. All the rest are bunk. Kacey Green.
So if you like your Tesla news shows or this format, on Sundays I do a live stream at youtube.com/Kacey Green.
You do?
This week I do. Yeah.
I have no
It's
idea.
about mostly the Musk companies, but also cleaner, greener world, electrify all the things. But in addition to that, I do have regular recorded videos. Right now, I'm focusing on Tesla full self driving, as well as I'm still doing deep dives into software. Even though I haven't published any of the videos I shot, they're still there on the file server, ready to go. But I've been working on the full self driving videos. I've got some more of them about to go shoot while I go pick my wife up from work. And look for them on the channel, youtube.com/Kacey Green, where you can watch my car drive like it's drunk, or try to kill me, or get corrected repeatedly. So, thank you. Check it out.
Do follow Kacey on YouTube and watch his shows because he's good. Last and certainly not least, my friend Georgia Mckenzie. What's up in your world, Georgia?
I guess I'm pretty happy to be here. I am going to give a shout out to everybody on the panel here. Thanks for coming back. Glad Russell made it through that terrible motorcycle thing.
Yes.
And you got to have time with your kiddo.
Oh,
Casey's going to have his hands full with a kiddo soon enough.
Indeed.
And Mark keeps collecting all this news, keeps all these factoids and bits of information about Tesla going. I don't know how he finds the time and manages to piece it all together. And then Paul's over there. Yeah, Paul, I'm basically buttering you up to see if you have one of those electric mini camper weirdo van things, so I can have
They're
my
long-term projects when I retire.
Basically, it's like it's just you want to live someplace off the grid in your tiny little camper van that'll probably be destroyed by a bear.
Yes.
But hey, it's a good thought. And I'm also thankful for all of you guys in the audience. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching us. Don't forget, hit up over to Kacey Green's channel, hit like and subscribe to get lots of tests and lots of things happening with this Tesla. Watch him basically improve their robotics so one day they take over the world. Thanks a lot, Kacey.
It's learning.
And then we have Mark. Head on over to the Tesla Life, learn all the facts and factoids, pick his brain. He's just a fountain of information over there. And if you need a car, what do you think Paul's there for? Head over to Boulder Hybrids, buy things, get things repaired. He's going to take great care of you, especially if you really want to get one of them little weird truck things that is with a Tesla battery
Clown
in
van.
it.
Butter him up with a case of beer when he finishes work.
And bring him good beer. Don't bring him any trash.
Right.
I'm watching you guys. No trash.
Because he'll pour it in your gas tank. Oh, I didn't say that.
Oh,
say
no.
that. No,
Russell.
he wouldn't do that.
Slander.
Only if
I'll
it's
pour it on your
Budweiser.
batteries.
Everybody stay safe. COVID is still out there. Get vaccinated. Get your booster. Get your flu shot. And be ready for a turkeyless Thanksgiving as we have supply chain issues with that. Wear a mask.
Right?
Okay, you look like a bandito there, Russell.
Does that mean it's cool or it's not cool? Because I might be a cool bandito.
It's in between. It's between ninja and
I'm sporting
bandit.
the mask because
He's one of the people I wouldn't cross the street walking near because he's wearing the covering.
I actually do look pretty scary most of the time. Thanks to everybody on the panel, of course. I want to two things here. Tomorrow, we're going to record a special show with Lauren McDonald, who is EV Adoption on Twitter. Going to be an interesting show. Lauren has been in the EV business for as long, really almost as it has existed. And I'm so excited. It's a great follow. Do follow EV Adoption on Twitter and look for that special show tomorrow. Also a plea, Amy Westervelt, come on my show, please. Come on. Okay, Amy? Anytime you want to come on, the offer's there. So I made the offer on Twitter earlier. I'm making it on the show now. I want to thank Kacey Green, Georgia Mckenzie, Mark Coughlin, and Paul Guzik for another incredible show. I want to thank everybody in the chat room. Benjamin, JT, Hockey Day. Who else am I forgetting? Not Kacey Green. I don't thank him because, everybody. Yeah, okay, that's everybody. Good. Just wanted to make sure I didn't forget anybody. Thanks to all of you. And of course, you folks out there are the reason we do the show. My thanks, as always, to Michael Manring for his theme music. Visit him at manthing.com. Buy a song or two just for the heck of it. Thanks for tuning in this week. Tune in next week or even tomorrow and find out what drives us.
Cue the music.
See you next week, everybody. Have a great time. Be safe. And wear a damn mask, okay?
Please.